Manifest has gained a lot of viewer traction as of late thanks to being picked up by Netflix, and with that comes tons of speculation regarding its plot. Today we're going to be diving into theories and predictions about the series, as well as other news related to season 4 of the show. Let's not waste any time and get right into it. First theory is that Ben and Saanvi are star-crossed lovers. Ever since Ben Stone, played by Josh Dallas, and Saanvi Bahl, played by Perveen Kaur, began working together to solve Flight 828's disappearance in season 1, many fans have rooted for the two to become a couple. The characters do share an undeniable chemistry, and Flight 828 has connected them in a much deeper way. Plus, fans can't forget about the fact that Saanvi already considered her romantic feelings for Ben when the Major, played by Elizabeth Marvel, pointed out their chemistry earlier in the series. In the season 3 finale, Angelina, played by Holly Taylor, killed Ben's wife, Grace Stone, played by Athena Karkanis, and kidnapped their baby daughter, Eden. Next, the curious case of Grace and Cal. One thing that isn't really up for speculation is whether Grace is truly dead. Thanks to spoilers from show creator Jeff Rake, who told TV Insider in no uncertain terms that Grace isn't coming back, according to Rake, Grace's death is an important plot point for season 4, and it will be a key motivation for Ben, who will spend much of the season struggling to deal with the events of the previous season finale. After all the Stone family has been through, many fans found Grace's death devastating. With Eden kidnapped, Grace dead, and Cal missing years of his life, the family has been completely torn apart. However, some fans have speculated that Grace sees Cal in her final moments because they're both in the afterlife. It seemed strange that Cal, just as his mother was dying instead of arriving earlier to stop Angelina from killing her. If this fan theory is true, it could turn out to be a red herring, meaning Cal hasn't really aged at all. However, it also makes sense that Cal could be arriving from another universe or timeline, just in time to comfort his mother in her final moments. Michaela is Major, and Angelina is the devil. This may be one of the more far-fetched earlier theories, but it's still going strong into Manifest Season 4. Some fans believe that Michaela Stone, played by Melissa Roxburgh, and the Major are the same. As a Reddit user pointed out, the characters look similar and, more importantly, wear the exact same necklace. They also share an intense interest in the Cowlings and Flight 828's mystery. The Major's strong desire to research Flight 828's passengers could be rooted in the fact that her younger self was a passenger. According to some Reddit manifestors, Angelina is an incarnation of Lucifer, who fell from grace after he was kicked out of heaven. Given Angelina's connection with the infant Eden and her mother, many fans argue that it's all spelled out pretty clearly. Some even argue that Angelina has been sent to test the Stone family or keep them from completing the callings, thus ushering in some type of apocalyptic doomsday scenario like an Antichrist figure. These are purgatory trials and everyone is actually dead. Another alternative is that teenage Cal is stuck somewhere otherworldly. The show's creator, Jeff Rake, previously teased this idea in an interview with TV Insider. All of the fan theories of the Manifest world, there is one that seems to have the most support both in series and in the fandom communities. Either the passengers died and they are going through trials to determine their fate in the afterlife, or they would have died, but they've been given a temporary reprieve to determine their fates. Either way, their response to the callings, or whether they choose to take the light or dark path, could determine their forever fates. The strongest evidence for this theory comes from show creator Jeff Rake, who told TV Insider that whether it's purgatory or it's the netherworld, the idea of the divine taking you away but keeping you in a holding pattern, which is probably an apt flight analogy, as your ultimate fate is determined, speaks to where Captain Daly has been. This is the Schrodinger's cat of TV shows. This is quite an interesting theory that two realities are simultaneously existing. Think of it as the multiverse, but very dialed down. Advances in quantum theory have yielded some fairly obscure ideas about quantum entanglement with even more radical implications. Quantum particles, experts say, can be in two places at once, behaving in ways that seem paradoxical. The revelation has the heads of sci-fi buffs spinning with ideas about the multiverse and wondering if Quinn Mallory wasn't right after all. And there's plenty of evidence in the series to argue that, just like Schrodinger's cat, maybe the 828 passengers died and lived all at the same time in some kind of bizarre quantum entanglement. The 828ers seem to clearly remember dying in a fiery explosion, even though they seem to be very much alive in the present day. In Captain Daly's simulation of the actual flight data retrieved from the government, the plane crashes every time, even though he remembers flying straight through it. Many eagle-eyed Reddit users noticed that Captain Daly returns at the end of season 3. He's wearing different clothing than the Daly who flew a stolen plane into the Dark Lightning. If this theory holds true, there could be even more realities at play in season 4, and possibly even some Fringe-style parallel universe ongoings. The Bermuda Triangle is to blame for the disappearance of the 828ers. Although there were plenty of hints about space-time anomalies in the first 2 seasons of Manifest, some fans think it all goes back to the Bermuda Triangle. One Reddit user even took this fan theory a few steps further, suggesting that the series could be exploring an Edgar Cayce-inspired mythology related to the technology of Atlantis, an island lost to its own hubris. According to Casey, the Atlanteans harnessed technology far beyond our own using quantum-level engineering, with technology that included mental telepathy. A flight from Jamaica would likely pass right through the Bermuda Triangle. In the episode Contrails, season 1, episode 11, meteorologist Roger Menson, played by Bruce McVitie, describes the 828 storm as dark lightning, a high atmospheric discharge releasing lots of ionizing radiation. It's easy to fall pretty far down this rabbit hole as a fan theory, and there's a reasonable amount of evidence to support the Bermuda Triangle fan theory. In their shared vision, Grace, TJ, Ben, and Cal witnessed Flight 828 in the sky from Alzura's boat, implying that all of the vessels lost in the Bermuda Triangle ended up in the same space-time anomaly. If this theory has any weight to it, there could be some pretty heavy implications for the US government's technological meddling in season 4. The whole series is actually about time travel. As fans may recall, Flight 828 Captain Bill Daly disappeared in season 1. Then he returned inside a missing plane for just a few seconds. Both Bill and the plane vanished into thin air again. But if fans looked closely, they might have noticed an interesting detail. As Pure Wow noted, Bill was wearing his captain's uniform, which he wasn't wearing at the time of his disappearance. Likewise, Dr. Fiona Clark, played by Francesca Ferradini, whom he kidnapped, was nowhere to be seen. Thus, it seems more likely that Bill had just reappeared from the moment Flight 828 vanished on its way to New York more than 5 years earlier. If this time travel theory is true, it would also explain how Cal aged 5 years when he returned from the other realm. Perhaps he and Bill entered some sort of time war. What should we expect from season 4? It goes without saying that Rake has a substantial amount to work off of based on fan theories alone. Moreover, he has to fit 3 seasons worth of content into just 20 episodes because Netflix has picked up the series for its last hurrah via season 4. Netflix Life speculates that there might be a time jump in season 4 so that the character's death date, which is 5.5 years after they boarded their flight, lines up with real time. This lines up with how things were left with Cal in season 3. There are also many loose ends that need to be tied and plot holes that need to be addressed in the final season, so one can only hope that the series won't tank its final season and disappoint the fans. Needless to say, however, we can definitely expect a lot of twists and turns because nothing is ever how it seems when it comes to Manifest. The 20 episodes the show has been renewed for likely won't air in one go, so if Manifest releases 8 episodes in its next batch and 12 in the following batch, it's likely to be framed as season 4 part 1 and season 4 part 2, mimicking how Lucifer framed their last season. Hence, batch 1 could come out as soon as mid-2022. That's it for today, folks, but we'll be back with more interesting videos. To stay informed about the entertainment industry, keep watching our videos. Tell us about the theories you may have about the show by sounding off in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe before leaving. Over and out.